The cafeteria fell silent when Zayla walked to the trash bins and began eating what the students had thrown away. It started as a whisper, then as laughter. Within minutes, a dozen phones were recording. The alien girl, with her iridescent skin that shifted between violet and silver, moved with practiced efficiency through the waste, picking out discarded food with a careful precision that suggested this was routine. Her elongated fingers sorted through half-eaten sandwiches and forgotten fruit with the focus of someone performing an important task. "Look at her," someone snickered. "She eats garbage." "Gross," another voice added. The comments multiplied. Cruel, amused, dehumanizing. Zayla didn't react. She never did. When the Terran Council had agreed to accept a limited number of Valkyrie refugees after their homeworld faced environmental collapse, the integration had been contentious. Humans didn't understand Valkyrie physiology, didn't know that their species could extract nutrients from materials humans considered inedible. What looked like scavenging to the students was, for Zayla, a survival strategy in a world that provided no appropriate food. She had tried the cafeteria line once. The human food was mostly incompatible with her digestive system, and what wasn't was prohibitively expensive on the stipend the settlement program provided. The discarded portions, however, the scraps with fruit skins still attached, the vegetable trimmings, the organic matter humans thoughtlessly abandoned, these she could process. These she needed. The videos would be online within the hour. #AlienGarbage would trend by evening. More mockery would follow. Sarah Martinez watched from her table, her chest tightening. She'd been partnered with Zayla in environmental science last month, had spent enough time around her to recognize the quiet intelligence in those multifaceted eyes, the careful politeness of her speech, the way she absorbed knowledge like a plant absorbing sunlight. She was brilliant. She was kind. She deserved better than this. Sarah stood up. The cafeteria's ambient noise continued, but something shifted, a subtle tension, a collective intake of breath, as Sarah walked across the room. Students watched, uncertain what she was doing. She approached the trash area where Zayla methodically worked, knelt down beside her on the floor, and reached toward a discarded container of mixed vegetables. "Mind if I join you?" Sarah asked quietly. Zayla's multifaceted eyes widened, the violet portions deepening with what might have been surprise. "Sarah, this food is not optimal for your biology." "I know," Sarah said. She picked up a piece of carrot and bit into it, chewing deliberately. "But you're not eating alone anymore." The cafeteria erupted, not in laughter, but in shocked murmurs. Sarah Martinez, captain of the volleyball team, a student council representative, someone genuinely liked, was kneeling on the floor, eating trash alongside the alien refugee. It made no sense. It was humiliating. It was impossible to mock in quite the same way when it was happening by choice. More students stopped eating. Some watched in confusion. Others, though, seemed to understand something fundamental was shifting. A boy Sarah knew from her literature class stood up, then a girl from the junior class. Within minutes, a small group had gathered around Zayla, not eating perhaps, but sitting with her, standing beside her, refusing to allow her isolation to continue unchallenged. The phones continued recording, but the narrative was changing. Where there had been mockery, there was now something else, something that looked uncomfortably like shame spreading through the student body. The videos that went online told a different story than anyone had anticipated. Not of an alien eating garbage, but of humans finally choosing dignity over cruelty. Zayla worked more slowly after that, her movements becoming less frantic. Sarah stayed beside her, and when Zayla found a particularly nutrient-rich piece of fruit skin, she offered it to Sarah first. "Thank you," Zayla said quietly, her voice like wind chimes. "On my world, we had a saying, isolation is the deepest hunger." I did not understand it until now. I was not hungry for food. Sarah squeezed her hand, careful of the delicate webbing between her fingers. "On my world, we have a saying too. No one eats alone. I'm sorry it took us so long to remember it." The cafeteria continued around them, but something had fundamentally changed. The alien girl would still eat from the bins. Her physiology required it, but she would never again eat alone. And perhaps that was the most human thing of all, the recognition that some hungers matter more than others, and that the greatest strength wasn't in mocking the different, but in standing beside them until the world learned to see them as they truly were.